this is my first long form video in quite a while, so forgive me if the quality is not the best. I'm also filming this at the same time that I'm making a TikTok about the same project. So if the quality isn't the best, it'll get better in the future. But with that being said, what exactly are we doing today? Well, this might be new to any of you that only watch long form content, but this is my 1999 Mazda Miata. And it was a salvage title. Now it is a rebuilt title. I've been showing the entire process on my TikTok channel. So if you're interested in seeing what went on with that, just go ahead over to my TikTok and you can watch that. If you have any more questions, ask me and I'll make a long form content video about it. Anyways, I've been heavily slacking on the long form content, but I'm gonna try to get back into it. And I figured what better time than when we're finally upgrading the Miata. Now, it's not a huge upgrade. Probably looks like nothing to you guys right now, but those of you who know, may know that this is an adjustable timing wheel. And what this does is allows you to, just like it sounds, adjust your timing, positive or negative. Negative if you're doing like a cheap turbo build and you need a way to retard your timing, or positive if you want to advance your timing and run a little bit more NA power, you know? So, as you may know, 1.8 liter Miatas are known for just making an insane amount of NA power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this on there. It's gonna make about 40 extra horsepower. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna make like 5 extra horsepower, but 5 horsepower is 5 horsepower. And it's about the same torque. I didn't need that box, that's okay. So anyways, if you're interested in knowing how to install this, continue watching this video. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is take off both accessory belts. So your AC and your power steering, and your alternator, your water pump. Take those both off, and then we can get to the crank hub or crank pulley. To get to those belts, you have to take off the intake, which I guess I should have said that was the first thing you have to do, but whatever, sue me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the front bolt on that bracket, along with this 14 millimeter bolt as well. Just loosen those, they don't need to be fully taken out. Then you're going to take a 12 millimeter and go ahead and loosen this bolt until you can get the belt off. There is a bolt that goes all the way through this pulley that you might have to loosen, but sometimes you can get away without doing that. Yeah, see, in this case, mine is loose enough to just press that down and pull that belt off. Now we will work on the alternator side. Similar to the other side, you have a 14 millimeter bolt right down here. Oh, can be a little tight. Just loosen it. Then I believe on the front of this one you have a 12. Yep. Just loosen that one. And then this one has a bolt that goes all the way through as well. But typically you do have to loosen this one, at least in my experience. It is easier if you have a short socket instead of a long one. So, like I said, grab a short socket. It's like in front of the oil filter on the back of the alternator. It's kind of a pain, but it can be done. Then grab yourself a 12 millimeter wrench and go ahead and loosen this bolt until you can pull the belt off. Press it forwards, grab the belt, and it should just pop right off. I think stock there is a line that goes through this belt, and that's kind of a pain, but you can just let the belt hang for this install, because with it hanging there, it doesn't really get in the way. You just need the belts off of the pulley so you can get the pulley off. Now you're gonna want to take a small 10 mil and get down there. There's 4 bolts that hold the crank pulley on. They're on the inside here. You can get them off with the sway bar and the radiator in. It's just a little bit of a pain, but it works just fine. And you'll want the car to be in gear as well. That just helps the pulley not spin as you're doing this. And go ahead and break it loose. Now once you get all 4 of those bolts out, you can go ahead and just pull the crank pulley off. Mine came off pretty easy because I have a brand new crank boss, but you might need some force behind it. Then you can go ahead and pull your timing plate off. This is what an OEM one looks like. So now that you have your OEM timing plate off, you can go ahead and take your new adjustable timing plate and put it back on in the reverse that you just did everything. This hole lines up with the dowel on your crank boss. Make sure you don't put it on backwards. Make sure that if there's writing on it, you can read it from the front. That's the best way to tell. Go ahead and re-thread in your 4 10mm bolts. Now to set my timing, I like to just snug down 2 of the bolts so it doesn't shake around, but it's also still easy to readjust everything. Now to start off, I'm going to start with the timing plate turned all the way clockwise, minus just a touch, because I think that's about exactly where I'm going to want my timing. And I'm going to snug down 2 of the bolts on the front of it, like I said earlier. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to lock your timing at 10 degrees. This is how you set base timing. So take a picture of this. This is 10 and ground that I have jumped. Ground is at the bottom, 10 is at the top. Jump those 2 on a 99 and 2000 only. If you have a different model, look it up because it is different, and I did it wrong on this and popped fuse before because I just based it off of what an NB2 was, and that is not correct. Then grab yourself a timing light. Now for a Miata, you're going to set your timing light up a little different. Normally it would attach to the battery, but since the battery's in the back, this is how I do it. Positive attaches to that lead on the alternator, negative attached to a good ground, and the reader, as always, goes on spark plug number 1. And the way to test if it's working, I don't know if you guys can hear that, light lights up and it makes a kind of like a squeaking sound, or at least this one does, yours might not. But if it does that, it's working. Make sure it's working. Then for the meantime, you will have to throw your intake back on and tighten everything down to make sure it seals correctly, because these are MAF cars and they need to read correct MAF to get the car to run correctly. Let your car get up to operating temp before you check the timing, and make sure it stays running, which mine doesn't like to do by itself, so I am helping it along. Now check your timing with the light. As I said, I can't really show you this part because my timing's rubbed off, but try to get it to about 14 degrees. Once you have it about where you think it should be, go ahead and tighten everything down and put on your belts, and you are good to go. Thank you guys for watching. That was the install. Come back for next time I decide to post a long form video. I just got finished taking the car for a drive, and I feel like it made a pretty substantial difference. Like, I can definitely feel it in the seat. The car's still definitely not making as much power as it could, but I think we'll fix that with the new headers when I put those on, which will hopefully be soon. I thought about doing it tonight, but it's already getting dark, so I'm probably gonna chicken out, but yeah.